Do you remember when snowflakes would fly seemingly all winter long? Snow and ice stayed on the ground for weeks and months back years ago, and the winter wonderland in Maine was everywhere? Well, the last two winters have featured late season snowstorms, saving the season from significant snow droughts. This upcoming winter, we've got a weak La Nina at best. We've got an NAO and AO that are going to be key. And overall, I expect less snow in the forecast. Sorry, snow lovers. Let's talk about the La Nina coming up. Just a slight dip into negative. La Nina watch is where we are officially now. And if we go back and look at what would happen if we talk about a strong El Nino or a strong La Nina, this is what it would look like. We get a big ridge with that La Nina, big impacts with an El Nino, a strong subtropical jet stream that would fuel a lot of the storms and give us the chop for big nor'easters. Well, we don't have that this year. The La Nina, the cooling of the waters in the equatorial Pacific. We have less impacts this year because of a weak La Nina. Temps are going to be above average. Precipitation wise, equal chances. So that's good for the drought. We'll take a look at the temperatures now here. Officially, as we start things off in November, above average. October is above average. November is going to be above average. You'll see the theme here begin to play out as we get deeper into the forecast. I want to take you now from the winter months, December, January, February. Still above average, 33 to 40%. And that's for the East Coast, the Southeast. The drought's going to go on with these temperatures being above average. And without that strong subtropical jet stream, you're going to have below average precipitation. That's especially down in Texas, but also heading to the Southeast. Now, for us in Maine, I expect the drought to go away because we're going to have at least enough in the way of precip to come our way as we expand things out into January and February through winter. Meteorologically speaking, we're going to definitely be alleviating that drought. The drought will continue to expand for a good chunk of the United States, just not here in Maine, not in New England. We're going to be okay. So we have that very slight drought going on down east, in the mid-coast, extreme southern coast. That's going to go away. But enough about that. Let's talk about snow, right? You're here to talk about snow. The Arctic Oscillation, a key factor, more of a factor now with a La Nina being weak. And that's where the cold weather is going to come from. It needs to be negative. If we're going to be talking about snow, we need that cold weather highway to break down. Now, these forecasts go out about 2 weeks. So keep checking back as we get through the winter months, and I'll break that down. We're going to need things to line up. With a weak La Nina, we can get snowstorms, but we also need another factor to come into play. The NAO, North Atlantic Oscillation. And the cold air locks in, get that cold air to come down the Labrador Current. It also slows down storms. We get that blocking high over Greenland. And if the storm track with the subtropical jet, the polar jet all come together at the same time, these forecasts they go, once again, about 2 weeks, and then we can have that big storm. But with a weaker subtropical jet, the big driver of those winter storms, I don't expect a lot of nor'easters this year like we had the last couple of years. We've had a few big ones. December average snowfall in the county, the Central Highlands, down east, expecting on average 1 to 2 feet in just the month of December, right? But lately, we've had those December start off slower. Head down to southern Maine now in Portland. Season total snowfall. Those big storms back in the 1970s, the 1800s. There was the 1995 year. Remember, think back some of those big ones. President's Day storm in New York City. That was a weak La Nina. But we need cold air to phase with coastline storms for big snows, like it happened here. April 11th last year. That was a big one. So we can get the big storms. I mean, think about what happened in 1993 in the superstorm year. Okay, you had that massive phasing, the perfect storm, the superstorm, the big one with feet of snow, 20, 30, 30 plus inches, all the way inland and down to the coastline, getting 20 inches of snow. That was a big year. I do not expect this year to be like that. We have to get very lucky. Everything's got to line up to get us a big snow this year. The odds are not in our favor right now.